stay here your whole life, that's it. We have to go out and experience life and get through it. I used to have severe anxiety. No one wants to believe that because of how I am now. Okay? They think I'm very, very confident. I get in my head sometimes and I've got to talk to myself. A lot of people that do public speaking will get like this. Okay? But they've learned how to navigate it and they understand actually this anxiety is probably just coming from, a bit of past. I need to speak to myself a little bit and say, you can do this and get through this. Okay? The only way I managed to get through it was to go through the fear and say, let's just do it, Mitch. Because we've got to grow. If you want to grow, this is the work you've got to do. Everyone gets excited about growth, but the growth is hard. You have to go into your stuff and go, right, I've got to step into my fear. And everyone's fear is different, remember. So, there's one time when I had to step on stage and there's 1,000 people. And I was having anxiety, a huge anxiety attack. My whole body went, yeah? I felt this tunnel vision come in, my hands were sweating, my heart was pulsing, and I couldn't function right. It's like, then I had to go, I was like, come on, Mitch. This voice, come on, Mitch, come on, you're okay. I used to pinch myself, right, you're not going to have a heart attack, you're not going to have a stroke, you're okay. You got to talk to self, you got to talk to the inner child, you're okay, you got to be your own therapist. And I got on stage and did it, okay? And after that, I felt amazing. I was so proud of myself. And what happened was belief. And I got through that fear. Okay? So the next time I step on stage, it's not going to be too crazy because I've done it before. I've experienced it. But if I ran away and said, I'm not doing it, I'm going. Okay? I've just navigated the world through fear. I've missed an opportunity for me to get over that fear. Life will give you these opportunities for you to either choose to go through it or you can choose to run away from it. Okay? So you have to ask yourself, where does my fear come from? What am I actually scared of? Specifically, what am I actually scared of? And look at it like this. It's your inner child that is scared. You need to take the responsibility to speak to this inner child, okay? And if you haven't got that, you have support around you to help you get through that. And then eventually you start to become your own guru and speak to yourself and say, I can do this, Mitch, come on. You're actually scared. And be completely honest with yourself. You're not tired, you're scared. Yeah, you don't want to do it because you're scared and you need to go through it. Small things like going to the gym on your own, okay? Just starting that Facebook page for your business, okay? Just going for your first run. Because why people are scared to do it is because of what people will think of them because they're going to be completely vulnerable in that situation where actually they're not the best in their eyes. Do you know what I mean? Their own worst enemy is themselves. And you have to say, throw myself in the deep end, okay? That's why people who got thrown in the deep end will thrive because they had no choice, okay? I got thrown in the deep end quite a lot in things. And yes, people laughed at me, okay? I felt completely vulnerable. I felt completely humiliated in those moments. But I was the person who walked it. I experienced it and I did it. You all can laugh at me, but I'm here doing it, yeah? You can all collectively go over there in your egos and look at me, but you don't notice yourself. You don't notice your judgment, You don't notice how you can't do this because you're living in fear and someone's chosen to go, you know what, I'm going to do it, okay? And these are the people that will leave a mark on this planet because they're the people that have said, no, I'm going to do it, okay? And you've got to ask yourself, these small moments in life, why is this decision being made? Is it through fear or through belief? A lot of people get caught up in the fear, in small things and opportunities, and I'm not going to do it because they took themselves out of it. You have to go off what it feels like, okay? So when there's an opportunity in front of you, and you really want to do it, okay, let's do it. But then you start thinking about it, you start thinking of all the negatives, and then you took yourself out of it, okay? And that's when the mind comes in, and all the thinking, and all the negative and all the fear comes in. There's a gap just before that. It's like, I want to go and do this. I can feel it, okay? And it's like that. If you jump, you'll get there. And you're like, oh. But if you go, listen, just walk up to it and jump. You just have to go, oh, okay, and then you jump over it. You're like, oh my God, I did it. But you could have gone, okay, cool, I'm going to leave it, okay? That's you getting in your head, getting in your fears, everything's coming out. You sometimes just got to jump and figure it out, all right? But you're now in the position of, I'm believing myself, I'm going for it. But remember, the fear, you have to look at your own fear. Where's it coming from? It's tricky, but you have to remember, it's not real, it's an illusion. You choose what state to be in.
That's why I always say the root chakra, chaos. The root chakra, chaos. Yeah? If you're not grounded, you're in chaos. To ground, you must become balanced in here. You start to see the truth then, and then you start talking to yourself. I'm actually all right. Everyone around here is getting lost in the illusion. We're actually pretty good. I can see the ants. There's the door. Let's go. Okay? Everyone starts panicking, you get lost in it. So ask yourself, what are your fears? What are you scared of? I'm scared to be successful because I've never had it when I was a kid. I was always, always like doing things to be validated, and I was never the best in something, and it was horrible because I was never ever good at it. And then I had to just go through it and one foot in front of the other, trust myself over time and over time and over time, and eventually, things started to happen. I could cry because this is it's hard, but I had to trust myself. And I'd go through all these obstacles. Yeah? And then tripping up and picking myself back up. But I had to go through it to experience it and to believe in myself. And I got to tell myself that every day. Okay? Because this in here, the inner child is so scared, and you have to speak to him and be like, listen, it's all right, keep going. Pick yourself up. Everyone's laughing at you, but it's all right because they're not doing this stuff. They're not walking this path. They're living in fear. You're showing people now you can get through this stuff. You see how hard it is? You have to go into this in the child and speak to them and say, come on, we've got to do this. If we don't, we get lost in everyone else's opinions and everyone else's fear, and then you just become part of the furniture, okay? And then you always look at one person who's going out there tripping up, picking themselves up, and they're going for it, and you look, oh, fair play, because I'll respect that person. And that's what that person smiling at you is actually thinking. They're not judging you, they're probably going, I actually wish I was like that person, because they're just going for it, and I'm actually scared. Okay? And these are our fears. But they're an illusion. You've got to speak to that inner child. You've got to nurture them. Because if you don't, fear will take you. And remember, it's an illusion. Okay? So you've got to ask yourself, where's that coming from? That's your question today. And we'll sit in meditation today and we'll go in. But this stuff is hard. I need to start crying then because I felt really sorry for my inner child. And it's looking after them and not bullying them. Because how you bully that inner child is laughing at other people for what that person went through. Because you're not that person anymore. Okay? Showing compassion. A lot of people do it when they're not in that environment that they don't like, but someone else is in it, they want to laugh because it's easier to be like that. But showing compassion is completely different. But it's learning to show compassion to yourself and be like, fair play, I know we fell over, but we did it. We got through it. Or you got halfway and you fell over. We'll pick ourselves back up and then we'll go again the next day. Okay? Or give it a week, Let's be kind to self. But instead of being horrible to self and say, I can't do it. That's what's tricky in life is this fear stuff. And people are going to come at you all the time and project their fears onto you. Just be careful, this. How on earth did I do all this stuff if I was running fear? This looks like suicide in people's eyes because, you're going to create your own PT studio and sports massage facility. Oh yeah, not a lot of people can do that. Are you sure? I have a plan B, just in case. If I had a plan B, I'm doubting my plan A straight away, okay? You got to find something in here and go with it. And if the fear creeps in, speak to your inner child and say, this is okay, we're going to keep going. But also, doesn't mean you have to ignore the fear because sometimes your body is speaking to you. Small things like when you're going to go do something but something feels off. You're like, oh no, actually, you got to listen to your gut. This doesn't feel right. Fight or flight's kicking in, they're speaking to you as well, what's going on, okay? Listen to that as well. You know what I mean? You build a relationship with self. You really build a relationship with self in here, with yourself. This is the whole part of becoming your own guru. This is why we rock up here and do meditations. We're not just creating a holistic environment to do a meditation. Oh, that was really nice, then go home. We're trying to get you to go in. Because people keep trying to save the world. The world doesn't need saving. You got to save yourself. Save yourself, the world will get saved.
The world doesn't need saving. We don't need to be here to save the world. If we disappeared, the world would be fine. Okay? You don't need to save the world. You got to save yourself. Okay? You got to see what actions you're taking in life. Am I actually being a good person or a bad person? You know deep down when you're making bad decisions. You know deep down when you're doing harm to another. So you got to say to yourself, like, I've got to start making better decisions for myself and watch the ripple effect you have on the whole earth than itself. Save yourself. Then you realise, as time goes on, you never need saving. You just need to let go of all this stuff. That's why when you just sit and be in meditation, nothing needs to be saved. You just need to just do nothing. All right? Because of our past and because we hold on to things, because we get damaged, we hold on to everything, and then we believe we're damaged. We're not damaged, you're just holding on to all this stuff. We've got to learn to let go of it all. Because you're back then, you peel back all these layers, you're back to your authentic self, and you get to experience the world in the present moment, rather than get lost in this all the time. Okay? This is the homework, though, to go in, to go in, to go in. Everything is always telling you to go in. Stop going out. And that's me speaking to myself as well. Because I do it. I get lost externally. I have to go, Mitchell, bring it back. That's what returning home is. External, internal. And you do this in life, okay? But the more you meditate, the more you stay over here. Right, I've got to go do this interview. I'm balanced. Let's go. And you go in. Might get triggered. I didn't react though, but let me take that with me, okay? So the interview triggered me a little bit. I'm really furious. I'm not going to blame the interviewer. I need to step back a little bit. Let me go back into internal. Why did I get annoyed in that interview? That person said something about me that really pissed me off. I'm not going to blame them. Why am I, you're doing more homework now. Do you know what I mean? You start taking it with you to learn from. Life is a reflection of what's going on in here. The people that speak to you are trying to do something for you. Even if they're having to go at you or punch you in the face, they're doing something for you. Okay? Take it away. Take away the physical, what's going on within here. Okay?